Hello, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to get a little bit more advanced to make this game a lot more fun. So if you followed the last tutorial, you should have a game something like this, where two beetles are racing around to try and eat the most fruit salads, and it's the first one to eat 10 is the winner. So that's fine, but we're going to make it more fun by giving some interaction between the two beetles. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have another new sprite. So I'm going here, and I'm just going to use the apple, but you can use anything you like. Now the apple is a bit too big compared to the beetle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it smaller. And to do that, I go over to costumes. Now you have two modes here. You've got the vector mode, which I'm in, and bitmap mode. To make things smaller, it's probably easiest to use vector. So I'm clicking on convert to vector. Click once on the apple, make sure I have this arrow selected, and from the corner just make it a little bit smaller, and okay, that looks about right. So there's my apple of the right size. Now what's going to happen is if the beetle eats the apple, you're going to make your opponent, the other beetle, go small. So it's kind of a penalty for the other beetle. So the apple is actually going to behave much like the fruit salad. It's going to appear randomly on the screen using clones. So I already have that code here. I have this code about waiting random 1 to 3 seconds, creating a clone, picking a random position. So I'm going to use that code again, and I'm going to copy it to the apple. Now this is something that some people can sometimes find a bit tricky. To copy it, I'm going to grab the code here and move it onto the apple. Now, the important thing here is it's the mouse pointer that is over the apple sprite. It won't work if I just put the blocks on like that. It's where the mouse pointer is, and that tricks a lot of people, catches people out. So I do that, and I'm going to do the same with this code, making sure the mouse pointer is on the picture. Now when I click on the apple, I can see both these blocks of code have been copied there. So some changes. I don't need to set Beetle 1 and Beetle 2 to 0 because I already have that over here on the fruit salad. So there's no point doing that twice. So I'm getting rid of those bits, but I do want forever wait random 1 to 3. Now, perhaps that's too often for the apple. So we can make it say 3 to 6 seconds. Then we're having a clone. And when I start as a clone, we're picking the random X position and the random Y position, and remembering to show that sprite. So as of now, if we press the green flag, okay, having to wait for the apple. There we go. So we have these apples appearing here. So not as many apples because it's 3 to 6 seconds. That's good. Now remember this one, the original one, that's still there, and I don't want that to be there, so I click on the eye, untick show. Now I can't see the original one, I can only see the clones when the clones come. There we go. And when I press stop, all the clones are automatically deleted. Great, so there's my apple appearing, but there's no sprite collision, nothing I can do with the apple. So let's go ahead and code that now. So it's under control. Remember, it's a clone, so it's when I start as a clone, and forever, and if. And let's go to sensing. Now, forever if touching, let's say Beetle. So if Beetle touches or eats an apple, what's going to happen? Well, I want the other Beetle to go small. So I have to give a command to a different sprite. Now to do that, I have to use a special block. Here it is in events, and I'm going to broadcast a message. So I'm going to use this one. So this is a way of telling another sprite what it should do. So I'm going to go to new message, and what I want to happen is I want Beetle 2 to go small. So my message name is Beetle2 small. Now that's just a name, it doesn't do anything. We actually have to code what Beetle2 small means. Now before I finish up, there's one more thing I want. So when I've eaten the apple, I want to delete that clone. So if Beetle touches an apple, then we broadcast this message. So we're sending a message, sending a signal. And then we're deleting the clone, so the apple will go. So let's just check that that bit is working. Wait for an apple. There's an apple all the way down the bottom of the screen. And okay, the apple's eaten. Now nothing else is happening. Nothing else is happening yet because I haven't coded this broadcast part. Now it's Beetle2 that I want to be small. So I'm going to click on Beetle2. And under events, we now have this. When I receive Beetle2 small. So it's not on the green flag. It's when I receive this message. So when the apple touches Beetle, this message will be sent, and on Beetle2 it will receive this message, Beetle2 small. And well, that's exactly what I want to happen. Under looks, I'm going to set the size and going to make it very tiny at 20%. Now let's have a look. Let's run. I have to wait for an apple. There's one up here, and if I eat this apple, you can see that Beetle2 is now tiny. Beetle2 can still move around, it's just you've been made very small. You can even still eat the fruit salads. Now, that's fine, but it's perhaps a bit too tough because Beetle2 is now small all the time, so I don't want to be that mean. I'll only do it for a few seconds. So under control, let's wait for, let's say 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds, back into looks, I'm going to set the size back to 100%, which is the original size. Now, one more thing I have to do on here, which you can see I've already got here. If I start the game now, then I want the Beetle to go back to the original size. So I have set this 100% under the green flag here. So that when I press the green flag, even if it was small from before, the Beetle is now full size. So let me come down and eat this apple. And there we go. Beetle2 is small for 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds, goes back to the original size. If I eat this apple, wait 5 seconds, and there we are, back to the original size. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience for Beetle2 at the moment. But what I'm going to do now is make the game even more interesting. What I'm going to do is, if you've eaten an apple and your opponent, your enemy, is small, I'm going to make it so that you can eat your enemy. And then you will get bonus points for that. The enemy will come back afterwards, but that makes it an even more fun game. A little bit like in Pac-Man, when Pac-Man eats the pill and can then eat the ghosts. So how do I do that? Okay, so I've got this happening here. Beetle2 is small. Let's go back to the apple. Now I need to know when Beetle2 is small. So to do that, I need a variable. So I'm going to go to data, and I'm going to make a variable. I've already got it here. So just go to make a variable, and I'm just going to call it, Beetle2 small. Okay, and press OK. Now I press cancel because I've already made that before. So now you have this variable Beetle2 small. So when I've broadcast this message, I'm going to set Beetle2 small as 1. 1 meaning it's on, that it's happened. Then over on Beetle2, I now need some more sprite collision. So I'm going to get the green flag, because it's not a clone, so green flag, then under control, and forever, and if. Hopefully by now you're really getting the hang of doing this sprite collision stuff. Now if Beetle2 is touching Beetle, just Beetle, then what we're going to do? Well, we're going to hide it, so it's gone. Now, at the moment, we have a problem. If I run this, and you see I've eaten the beetle, but I wasn't supposed to be able to do that. That was only supposed to happen if Beetle 2 was small. Well, let's get him back. So I need something else here. Now remember, over here I had this variable, Beetle 2 small. So when Beetle has touched the apple and Beetle 2 is small, Beetle 2 small is 1. So I can only eat the beetle if this variable, Beetle 2 small, is equal to 1. So how do I do that? Well, it gets a little bit more complicated. I need to put some more things in this if statement. I need some ands. So first I need to know if I'm touching the beetle. So let me move these things out the way so it fits on so you can see everything. So first, if I'm touching the beetle and my variable beetle 2 small, if that is equal to 1. So I have to put that in here, that in there, and that in there. A little bit complicated to build this if with and. So how is it? I'll just break it apart again so you can see. So first I put and. One side that now that's where it can get a bit tricky. One side is if I'm touching the beetle, and the next side is if this beetle 2 small is 1. That means yes, beetle 2 is small. And then we're going to hide. So now when I run, see, now I'm touching him, nothing's happening. But if I get this apple, beetle 2 is small. So this is true, beetle 2 is small. And now I've eaten beetle 2. Beetle 2 is gone. So again, that's perhaps a bit tough, a bit too mean for the game. So let's only hide Beetle 2 for some time and make him come back. So under control, I'm going to, well, you can make it whatever time you want, but I'm going to put 5, wait 5 seconds, and then Beetle 2 is going to come back. Okay? Great, so let's just test that. Not quite finished. There's a few more bits to do. So let's get the apple. Now quickly, before he goes big again, I have to, yes, I've eaten Beetle 2, and Beetle 2 should come back after 5 seconds. There you go. Beetle 2 is back. Okay, now a few more things to do here. After Beetle 2 has come back, here it is. This is the code I want. Yeah, the more you do, kind of gets a little bit messy. Now, remember, once Beetle 2 is back to 100% of the size, well, this variable, Beetle 2 small, is not 1. Is not small anymore. So I have to set Beetle 2 small is now 0. So when he's gone back to the original size, Beetle 2 small is 0, meaning I cannot eat Beetle 2 anymore. Remember, we had, if I eat the apple, we say that Beetle 2 small is 1, and we broadcast, and we have this here, where the size is 20%, weight 5, 100%. Now, while Beetle 2 is small, which means that Beetle 2 small is 1, while he's small, if I touch him, he will hide. But once he's back to 100%, I can't eat him. So we have to set Beetle 2 small back to 0. Okay. Now it's a good idea to also set Beetle 2 small back to 0 at the start of the game as well. So I've just added that line under the green flag here. So Beetle 2 small is 0. We set the size to 100%. So we're basically resetting everything when we press the green flag. So let's see if that's working as we want it to. Let's wait for an apple. There's an apple. Okay, I can eat Beetle 2. Beetle 2's gone, but should be back in a couple of seconds. And now Beetle 2 is big. Yes, now I cannot. Whoops. So I did eat Beetle 2. I think that's probably because I had an apple at the same time. Let me see. So I've eaten Beetle2. Beetle2 should come back. Let's check. Yeah, it is working fine. What happened last time was an apple appeared right where I was. So I was then able to eat Beetle2, because now I can't. But I get an apple, Beetle2 is small, and there we go, I've eaten Beetle2. Beetle2 should come back. Great, that's all working. Now, we said if you've managed to do that, if you've managed to have an apple and eat your opponents, then you're going to get some bonus points. So let's give ourselves some bonus points. In this part here, so if I've eaten Beetle2 and he hides, I'm going to give myself 5 extra points. So I'm going to get this, change Beetle1, which is my points for Beetle1, and I'm going to change it by 5. So we're going to get 5 extra points for eating your opponent. So let's just test that bit out. So, head over here. Can't eat you because you're big. Now you're small. Turn around and... Okay, yep. And I got the 5 extra points. Couple more points for the fruit salad. Quick, let's head for an apple. And down to eat the beetle. And there's my 5 bonus points. Excellent, it's all working. Of course, I've only done this for Beetle 1 and making Beetle 2 small. I'm going to leave it up to you to do the rest of the code for the other way around. So you're going to make Beetle small and Beetle will be eaten and Beetle 2 will get the bonus points. It's basically the same code, but you need to watch out for the variables that you're using. You can see I've already made them here. I've got Beetle 1 small, so you'll need something like that. Over here, you will need another sprite collision. Well, I'll just give you a bit of a hint. Easiest way is to duplicate that, and you want to know if you're touching Beetle 2, and you'll set Beetle 1 small to 1, and then you need another new message, something like Beetle 1 small. Okay, so it's kind of the same, but with Beetle 1 instead of Beetle 2. Okay, that's enough help. I'm going to leave you to figure it out for yourself. If you can't, then the full game is in the notes underneath the video. Okay, a little bit complex today. Quite a lot of ideas in there about this broadcast and using a variable with 0 and 1 to keep track if something has happened. But hopefully you've been able to follow. Have a go at doing the code, and you've actually got quite a nice, fun 2-player game there to play. Great, I'll see you in the next video.